Alright guys, today we are going to talk about mass, density, volume, and how to use the formulas. You should have received two little papers. Kind of makes it foldable. This one's going to go this way, and of course this one should be blank because everything's on the other side. And we're going to put it together like this, flip it over, and you should see this now. Okay, and it's going to fold, guys, like that. And that's going to give it to where you can put it in your folder. Okay. Now, let's begin. So we're going to first start with, of course, density. And density's formula is D equals mass divided by, guys, remember this is a division sign, fraction sign, volume. Okay, and that is the amount. Well, let's talk about what density is. Density is the amount of matter in a given space or volume, and normally this is measured in grams and milliliters, or grams and centimeters cubed, like that. Okay. We're going to come back and work the problem out. We're going to go over each formula because that's what this is a problem. But I want to go over each formula with you, talk about how to solve word problems so we can make sure we're doing it correctly. So we'll come back to the problem, okay? So what you really need to know right now, that this is density. If this helps you, please write this down. Mass and volume. Okay? So density equals the mass divided by the volume. Pretty simple, guys. It's formula. I love to call it plug and chug. You get the information you're given, you plug it in, and you chug it. So let's go ahead, and we're going to move on to mass. So mass equals volume times density. So mass equals volume times density. Well, what is mass? Mass is the amount of matter in an object. So it's the amount of matter in an object. And the amount of stuff is pretty much, okay? So the amount of stuff is measured in grams. Okay? So mass is always measured in grams. It's the amount of matter in an object. The amount of stuff or matter is measured in grams. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on down to what we have last, which is volume. And volume, oh, just messed that up, I'm sorry. Let's erase that and start over. Volume equals mass, again, divided by density. Okay, so volume equals mass divided by density. And let's talk about what volume is. Volume is the amount of space. The amount of space an object takes up. We use centimeters cubed or milliliters to measure volume. Okay, so volume, and I've given you an example right here. This is the volume of a 1 cubic centimeter, okay? And the reason why is because, look, you have centimeter here, and how many are there? There are 3. And always know that 1 ml equals 1 centimeter cubed. Just a little information for you that we have on here. Sorry. So, real quick, we're going to talk about how to solve word problems so we can get started. I know you've seen this already in math and science. We're using this across the school. So let's just talk real quickly about how to solve word problems. So it's called Rubies. Rubies, you always begin with, of course, reading the problem, guys. It's very important that you read the problem. And then underline the question. Find out what they're asking you and underline it. And then you can illustrate and draw if that helps you. Please make sure you do that. Kind of like this picture over here. If it helps you to draw it out, draw it out. If you have multiple choice, then the next thing would be eliminate the wrong choices. And then, of course, select and solve. So we're going to do that with each one of our problems, okay? And I'm going to revert back to here so you can see how I did it. So first, of course, is our R, which is read the problem. So we're going to go back up here to density, and we're going to read our problem. A brick has a mass of 100 grams and a volume of 25 centimeters cubed. What is the density of the brick? So we have read the problem. Now we're going to underline the question. Well, most questions, guys, ask like what, how, stuff like that. So where can we see where it says what, how, or anything like that? So what is the density of brick? So there's our question. We're going to underline that. What is the density of brick? Okay, well, next is B, which is boxing keywords. Well, we have a couple keywords. We know that for our formula, we need to have mass or volume, so we got to find where that is. So a brick has a mass of 100 grams. Well, we're going to box that because 100 grams is kind of important. And a volume of 25 centimeters cubed. So there's our two numbers that we need to plug into our formula. So we're looking for the density, so that's going to say D for density. And then mass, well, our mass was 100. And we know we're going to divide by volume, which was 25. So if we do that, you can top in, bottom out. So 100 divided by 25. 25 goes into 100 how many times? 4. That is correct. So 100 subtract, that gives us 0. So the density equals 4. And if you remember correctly, it's always written in either grams and milliliters and grams and centimeters cubed. In this situation, we're talking about grams and centimeters cubed, so we will put it in centimeters cubed like that. So there's your answers. Always circle your answer, or if you see it on the multiple choice, you pick it. So let's go ahead and move over to mass. So for mass, we're going to read the problem. The density of gold is 19.3 grams centimeters cubed. What is the mass of the cube? Okay, well, I'm so sorry because I have forgotten to write something in here. It's actually the density of gold is 19.3 centimeters. If I have a nugget of a volume of 10, so it's going to be, right here it's going to say, if I have a nugget with a volume of 10 centimeters cubed. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So what is the mass of the cube? Well, there's our question, so we can underline that. What is the mass of the cube? And we're going to circle or box what we think is keywords or numbers. Well, in this case, numbers. So for our formula, we need volume and density. So the density is 19.3, and the density is 19.3, and the volume is, of course, 10. So if we come down here, we're going to do mass equals, well, the volume is 10 times the density, which is 19.3, and if we multiply that, so 19.3 times 10, that's 0, 0, 0, because anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Go this way, that's 3, 9, and 1. And then if we add down, and then we have 1 decimal, so we are only going to move our decimal over 1 time, so it is 193. So our mass is 193. And if we remember correctly, mass is always measured in grams. So there is our answer there. Okay, our last one that we have is volume. So we're going to quickly go over that. Let's read it first. My paper weight has a mass of 50 grams and a density of 2.5 grams centimeters cubed. How much space does it take up? Well, we see here our question right there. How much space does it take up? Okay, well here's our formula, so we're going to plug in our formula. We have, well, let's underline our important information first, I'm sorry. So we have 50 grams, because that's our mass, and we need density, which is 2.5, so we can plug those in now. So mass is 50 grams, we have to divide, and then 2.5. So top in, bottom out. And if you remember when we were dividing decimals, we cannot have a decimal out here, so we have to move the decimal and make it a whole number, which makes it 25. But if we do it here, we have to do it inside, which is actually going to move over here and make it 500. Okay, so 25 goes into 50 2 times, which gives me 50. We subtract, bring down our 0. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0, 0. So our answer is 20. So the volume is 20. And if you remember correctly, it's written in either centimeters cubed or milliliters. In this case, we have centimeters cubed. So like this. So there's your answer. Alright guys, and then when you're done, you can just fold it like this and put it in your little notebook and keep it so you have it for studying. Of course, it won't be perfect, guys. It's not a big deal. But here is a lot of great information for you. Please make sure you use it when you are doing your practice and check for understanding. Have a great day.